In the quiet village of Mbale, where red earth roads curved between humble huts and the sun dipped behind hills like a golden sigh, lived a young girl named Amara. She was just 19, with deep brown eyes like river water and a heart bigger than her family's broken hut. Her mother, Mama Chica, had been her only parent since birth, a midwife known by every woman from the hills to the valley. But now, Mama Chica lay on a bamboo mat, her breath weak, her lips pale, slowly dying from an illness no village healer could name. The cure was known, but the cost was heavy: 150,000 naira for special herbs and transport to the distant town clinic. Amara had begged in markets, washed clothes, and even worked in cornfields under the cruel sun, but what she earned could only buy bitter tea and hope. Then one evening, while walking back from the market, fate placed her before a man named Okonkwo, the village's sly and wealthy matchmaker, who offered her a chilling proposal. "There's a man," he said, "crippled by an old accident, alone, wealthy and childless. He seeks a wife. He will pay anything, if you agree to marry him." Amara felt like thunder struck her chest. A crippled man. Marry for money. But when she went home that night and saw Mama Chica coughing blood, her mind turned from shame to sacrifice. The next day Amara said yes. The villagers whispered as she was dressed in borrowed lace and led to the house of her husband-to-be. The compound was large but cold, shaded by trees like mourners, and there he sat, Jabari. His legs were thin, twisted by polio since youth, but his eyes were gentle and intelligent, unlike the rumors that painted him a monster. "You don't have to love me," he told her that first night. His voice soft like worn velvet. "Just don't hate me." And so began their strange union. Jabari paid for Mama Chica's treatment and even sent a car to the town hospital. Amara waited each day for news, sitting in the wide house filled with books and silence. Jabari gave her space. He spoke only at meals, never touched her, and read aloud by lantern light as if words were his only company. Slowly she saw his pain, not in his legs but in the way he watched the rain alone. One night, when a storm tore through the village, power went out. Amara screamed as a snake slithered through the kitchen. Jabari dragged himself across the floor with his arms, shielding her with his frail body until the danger passed. She wept that night, not from fear, but from the realization that this man, broken in body, had a heart far stronger than any she had known. Days passed into weeks. Mama Chica's health improved. She sent a letter, shaky with joy, telling Amara she was walking again, praying for her daughter's strength. Jabari never asked for affection, but Amara began leaving cups of tea by his reading chair, sitting beside him during quiet evenings, and even laughing at his dry, clever jokes. One night, as he read her a tale of a bird who loved a wind that could never stay, she reached for his hand. It trembled, startled, then held hers like a blessing. For the first time in weeks, his eyes glistened, not with pain but with something like hope. But just when she started to feel something she couldn't name, a knock came at their gate. Okonkwo, the matchmaker, returned, not for money but for chaos. "You were never supposed to stay," he hissed. "Just to take the money, play the wife and leave." Jabari was only supposed to taste love, not live it. And with those words, he handed Amara a letter. An old one she had never seen, written by Jabari before their wedding, saying he knew no one could love a cripple, that he would pay anyone just to pretend. Her hands shook. Was it all a lie? Had he only bought her like a doll for comfort? Her heart, which had begun to bloom, now cracked again. That night, Amara didn't join Jabari for dinner. She sat alone by the fire, staring into the flames as tears slid down her cheeks, burning like betrayal. But in the silence of the night, she remembered not the letter, but the man who had shielded her from a snake, read her poetry, never demanded love, and waited patiently as she healed. Could love ever begin with duty and grow into something more? Or was it all a well-acted play? She didn't know. But she knew one thing: the next morning she would ask Jabari the truth, no matter how much it hurt. The morning sun filtered through the dusty curtains, bathing the quiet house in a soft golden hue. Amara hadn't slept much. Her mind swirled with questions, doubts, and memories. The letter Okonkwo had delivered haunted her like a ghost, proof that Jabari had once believed no one could truly love him. But as the roosters crowed and distant village drums echoed across the fields, Amara remembered his eyes, his kindness, his quiet strength. She walked into the living room, where Jabari sat already, as always, with a book open on his lap. But he didn't read. He was staring blankly into the distance. His face was tired, as if he too hadn't slept. When he saw her, he straightened slightly but said nothing. Amara sat across from him, heart pounding. "Why didn't you tell me?" she asked softly. Jabari closed the book slowly. "Because I never expected you to stay," he said. "I had tried before. Matchmakers, women who came for money. They always left. I told Okonkwo to find someone who would pretend just long enough to make me forget I was unloved. When I saw you, I thought you were just like the rest." His voice cracked, full of years of rejection and hidden ache. "But you weren't. You stayed when you didn't have to. You made tea. You laughed at my jokes. You touched my hand. I wanted to believe it was real, but I was too scared to ask." Tears welled in Amara's eyes. "I didn't come to pretend. I came to save my mother. But staying, that was my choice." She stood up slowly and walked toward him. "You didn't buy my heart, Jabari. You earned it, when you saved me from that snake, when you sat beside me and never demanded anything, when you treated me with dignity even when I didn't know if I deserved it." Jabari's eyes glistened. "Do you hate me?" "No," she whispered. "I'm afraid I might be falling for you." Silence fell between them, but it was no longer heavy. It was filled with the heartbeat of something real. From that day their bond deepened, not with grand gestures but with small moments, sharing stories of their childhoods, laughing over burnt yam, planting a small flower garden in the front yard. Jabari, with Amara's help, began working on a project he had hidden away, a plan to open a school for disabled children in the village. "I want to teach them that broken legs don't mean broken dreams," he said. His wisdom, once buried beneath shame, now became his strength. Villagers who once pitied him now came for advice. Children who once mocked him now ran to greet him. Amara stood proudly beside him, no longer the poor girl in borrowed lace, but a woman transformed by love, struggle, and grace. Then one day, while sweeping the corridor, Amara felt a strange nausea. It happened again the next morning. Concerned, Jabari called a nurse from town. After some tests, the nurse smiled warmly. "Congratulations," she said. "You're expecting." Amara froze, disbelief washing over her. "A baby." Jabari looked as if the air had been knocked from his lungs. "But the doctors told me I might never." He stopped, his voice breaking. Amara reached for his hand. "Miracles come in many forms," she whispered. In the months that followed, their home was filled with preparation. Tiny clothes, painted walls, lullabies hummed in the evenings. Mama Chica returned to the village, healthy and full of stories. When she saw Jabari again, she wept and held his hands. "Thank you for loving my daughter," she said. "You gave her more than I ever could." The villagers, once suspicious, now celebrated them. At the village festival, Jabari gave a speech, sitting tall in his custom-built wheelchair, with Amara glowing beside him. "True love," he said, "is not about walking beside each other, but about never letting the other fall." That night, under a sky full of stars, Amara leaned on Jabari's shoulder and whispered, "You were never the crippled one. I was the one crippled by fear. But you showed me love that walks on faith, not legs." Months later, their baby boy was born, healthy, bright-eyed, and strong. They named him Chisholm, meaning "God is with me." Their home, once filled with silence, now echoed with laughter, baby cries, and the gentle clatter of Jabari's wheelchair moving across the tiled floor. Love had not come to them in the expected way. It had come through pain, sacrifice, misunderstanding, and truth. It had bloomed not in a bed of roses, but in the red earth of Mbale, watered by tears and held up by faith. And in that village, people still whispered the story of a poor girl who gave up everything to save her mother, married a crippled man to buy time, but found in him a heart that healed her more than medicine ever could.